Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're stepping inside the courtroom where the illusion of family shattered, where love, legacy, and lies collided under oath. Your Honor, he lied to every one of us. Not just in love, not just in land, but in the very idea of family itself. This wasn't betrayal. This was embezzlement wearing a wedding ring. The words echoed off the tall wooden walls as Kody Brown stood before the judge, trembling but unbroken. This wasn't another season of Sister Wives. This was real. This was legal. This was war. The judge, calm, firm, eyes like glass, leaned forward. "Miss Brown," she said, her voice slicing through the tension. "Continue your statement." Kody didn't flinch. "I'm here to make sure the truth is documented," she said, not buried under 17 seasons of denial. The courtroom wasn't just a place of law anymore. It had become a burial ground, where sister-wife secrets came to die. To Kody's left sat Janelle, shoulders squared, jaw locked, silent fury in her eyes. To her right, Mary, once isolated, now standing on the same battlefield. And behind them, the man who built an empire on half-truths and holy excuses, Kody Brown, hiding behind his legal team, his hands trembling under the table. This was the trial no one believed would ever happen. Not on TLC, not in the tabloids, not even behind closed doors. But here it was, the estate war of the Browns. The spark? A sealed envelope found in a safety deposit box after Garrison's tragic passing. It was addressed simply to the ones who never had a voice. Inside, 3 items: a notarized letter from Garrison addressed to the judge, a photocopy of a property trust naming Robyn Brown as sole beneficiary, and a handwritten ledger and marked grocery fund fraud. Kody said it out loud. He never planned to include us. We were just pawns. That was the moment the truth stopped knocking and kicked down the door. What began as a quiet estate clarification became a full-blown courtroom battle, over inheritance, deception, and years of manipulation hidden beneath the word family. "Exhibit A, Your Honor," Kody's attorney announced, sliding forward the first packet of evidence, a property deed dated 2019, the Flagstaff house, the home Kody said he built for the family. But on paper, then only 2 names appeared, Kody and Robyn Brown. The judge adjusted her glasses. "Ms. Brown?" she asked. "Were you led to believe this was a shared family asset?" Kody nodded. "He told us it belonged to all of us. We each paid for parts of it. He called it ours, but legally it never was." Behind her, Robyn shifted in her seat, her lawyer whispering furiously in her ear. Mary's lips pressed into a thin line, but she stayed silent. Janelle, meanwhile, stared down at her own folder, a thick file of canceled checks and budget printouts. Kody hadn't just betrayed them emotionally. He'd built an entire paper empire and erased their names from it. The judge struck the gavel once. What began as probate, she warned, is quickly becoming a fraud case. Outside, reporters swarmed. Tabloids lit up. The Sister Wives estate hearing had gone nuclear. Kody faced the cameras only once. "This isn't revenge," she said. "This is truth, finally standing up after years of financial gaslighting." When court resumed, Janelle took the stand. No tears, no theatrics. Just calm fury. "I handled the family budget for 13 years, she said. "Grocery bills, rent, car insurance, everything. I never questioned anything, until I found the trust account." The courtroom stilled as her lawyer displayed the name Brown Unity Family Holdings, LLC. Deposits, mostly from Janelle and Mary's accounts. Withdrawals, Robyn's mortgage payments. "It's not just about what we didn't get," Janelle said. "It's about what we were told. He said we were all taken care of. We weren't. The grocery fund wasn't for food. It was a funnel for financial betrayal." The judge leaned in. "Ms. Brown, were you compensated for your role on the reality show?" Kody nodded. "Yes, but the contracts went through Kody's LLC. He paid what he thought was appropriate." Murmurs spread through the gallery. Then, unexpectedly, Mary stood. Her voice cracked. "Your Honor, I stayed because I thought leaving meant losing everything. I thought silence meant loyalty. I didn't know staying meant being erased." Even the judge softened. "Do you believe Mr. Brown manipulated you financially?" Mary's eyes filled with tears. "Yes," she said. "And I let him." Just then, a court officer stepped forward holding a red-sealed envelope. "New evidence, Your Honor." The judge raised an eyebrow. "Let it be entered into record." The seal read, "Garrison Brown, private statement." "This," Kody whispered, "is where the truth blows the roof off." The courtroom froze. Everyone knew. Garrison saw everything. He had stayed silent for years until now. His letter wasn't just a message. It was a time bomb. And tomorrow, it would explode. Kody's lawyer finally rose. My client insists he acted in the best interest of the family. There was no intent to deceive. Christine didn't hesitate. He used marriage, religion, and love as a mask, for control, money, and silence. The judge's voice cut through the noise. If there was misappropriation of funds, this will become a criminal matter. I advise both parties to prepare for an audit. No one moved. No one spoke. Christine placed her hand on the bench like a quiet prayer. He lied to all of us, she whispered. But now the truth is under oath. Tomorrow, Garrison's letter would be unsealed. The estate war would enter phase 2, and for the first time, Robyn Brown would be called to testify. Because every brick, every dollar, every promise was built on a lie, and now the empire was finally collapsing in open court. Today, we're rewinding to the moment the illusion of unity finally shattered, when family legacy turned out to be nothing more than a financial empire built on exclusion. Let's go back to 2018. Kody Brown stood before the cameras with a gleam in his eye and a speech rehearsed to perfection. He said it was a leap of faith, a move from Las Vegas to Flagstaff, Arizona. A new beginning, a promise of unity. But in truth, it was a relocation built on sacrifice. Each wife sold her Las Vegas home, handing over their equity to build the dream. Christine sold hers for over $450,000. Janelle followed. Mary did the same. That money didn't go into their homes. It went into Kody's land he controlled through trusts and LLCs no one ever saw. I thought we were building together, Janelle testified. We even made vision boards, maps, layouts, dreams. But apparently the future never included our names. Then came the next revelation, the 2020 trust document. Christine's attorney held it high before the court, the Brown Unified Legacy Trust. At first glance, the name sounded noble, like a family coming together. But when the court saw the designated successor and trustee, the room fell silent. It was Robyn Sullivan Brown. Janelle's pen dropped. Your Honor, she said, her voice shaking, I never saw this document in my life. We were told it would protect all our children. That we were forming a legacy, not a dynasty. Robyn's attorney jumped up immediately. Miss Sullivan Brown was added for legal clarity, not exclusion. Christine's voice cut through like a blade. Then why weren't the other wives given any trustee roles? The judge didn't answer. She didn't have to. Her silence said everything. Then the family credit card scandal. Mary's attorney stepped forward with a folder full of financial statements spanning from 2015 to 2022. Every transaction, every receipt, every lie. Over $73,000 in home improvements were charged to the shared family card, but every upgrade went to Robyn's home. From luxury tile to new security systems, all paid for by Janelle and Mary. Mary's voice cracked as she spoke. We thought we were upgrading family properties. He told us we'd all benefit. Now I see. We were just funding Robyn's castle. The family card was supposed to feed the kids. It ended up decorating someone else's throne. Judge Hanover leaned forward, reviewing the mountain of exhibits. I have over 70 pages of filings before me, she said. The plaintiffs believed they were co-owners, yet legally they hold no titles, no trust positions. She paused, her tone sharp. This court will now allow testimony on intent, misrepresentation, and fiduciary manipulation. Christine and Janelle exchanged a look. That one sentence changed everything. The door had been opened, from property dispute to potential fraud. Then Christine's lawyer made a move that left the courtroom breathless. He played a video, a clip from Sister Wives, Season 15. On the screen, Kody Brown appeared smiling, arms outstretched. This land is for all of us, he declared. That's the whole point of Coyote Pass. Equal partners, equal voice. The clip ended. Silence. Christine rose slowly from her seat. Your Honor, that aired just 2 months before the deed was refiled, in Kody's name alone. The irony hit harder than any gavel. Then came the next blow, Robyn's secret contract. Mary's lawyer introduced a private document signed in 2021. It was titled Asset Protection Addendum. Inside, the clause guaranteed Robyn exclusive rights to 3 family vehicles, first resale rights to the Flagstaff home, and financial priority in case of divorce. Christine gasped audibly. He told us we were crazy for asking for protections during separation. He told us love didn't need contracts. But all this time, Robyn had one. Janelle's fist tightened. He called Christine paranoid. He called me difficult. But he gave her a golden parachute. The room was silent, except for the scratch of the judge's pen as she took notes. Then came the expert witness, a forensic accountant. She was calm, clinical, but her words hit like hammers. Through Brown Family Holdings, LLC, she testified, Kody and Robyn funneled all family income, TLC checks, book royalties, appearances, and redistributed funds at their discretion. Only 2 people had bank access, Kody and Robyn. Meanwhile, Christine was paying Isabel's surgery out of pocket. Janelle had drained her savings to cover rent. Mary's business income went straight into inventory, never protected by the estate. This isn't imbalance, the accountant said. It's textbook financial coercion. Then came the most shocking moment of the day. Robyn Brown took the stand. Her voice was trembling. I didn't ask for any of this. I just trusted Kody. He told me he'd handle everything. I didn't look too closely. Christine's voice rose from across the room. That's the difference. We weren't allowed to look. You were. The judge raised her hand for order, but the message was already clear. This wasn't ignorance. This was participation. And then Janelle stood once more. She approached the bench carrying a single fragile thing, a family vision board from 2019. Pasted across it, 5 modular homes. Smiling kids, a shared garden, and across the top, Kody's handwriting, "Unity is our legacy." Janelle's voice cracked as she turned to the judge. I just want to know, she said softly, how do you erase 3 decades of women and children with one piece of paper? No one had an answer. The courtroom was still, reverent, almost sacred, as Janelle reached into her folder and handed over a sealed red envelope. Your Honor, she said, this isn't just a statement. It's a warning, and from Garrison, a son's final plea, that the truth be louder than the silence we lived in. The judge nodded, holding the envelope delicately. The room held its breath. Tomorrow, Garrison's letter would be opened. Tomorrow, the truth would finally speak. And the world would see the Browns, not as a family divided, but as an empire built on deceit, finally collapsing in the cold light of justice. Today's story takes us into a courtroom where silence felt like judgment, and truth arrived in a red envelope. There were no cameras, no whispered side interviews. Even the sound of the bailiff shifting his clipboard cracked through the air like thunder. At the center of the courtroom sat a single envelope, red, sealed, and slightly worn at the edges. Across the front, written in Garrison's own hand, were 6 words that made the entire room hold its breath. To the judge, from Garrison Brown. Janelle clutched that letter as though she were holding her son's hand. He wasn't there, but somehow he was about to take the stand. His voice, long silenced by death and family betrayal, was about to become the loudest one in the room. Judge Hanover took the envelope gently, as if it were sacred. She slid scissors across the top edge, slowly unfolding 2 pages of handwritten truth. Her lips tightened as she read line by line, and then she looked up. This letter, she said softly, will be read into court record. The gallery fell silent. The families nodded. And then came the words that no one was prepared to hear. To the judge reading this, and to anyone still pretending this family was ever a team, my name is Robert Garrison Brown. I'm not writing to hurt anyone. I'm writing because someone has to stop pretending. The courtroom froze. Even the air seemed to listen. I was born into a home that preached faith, unity, and fairness. But I lived in a house where fairness only applied to the favorites. When we moved to Flagstaff, my mom, Janelle, gave up everything. She believed in a future on land that was promised to us all. But I watched month after month as Robyn's kids got everything. New rooms, new cars, even private security. While we shared bunk beds and canned beans. Christine covered her mouth, her pen trembling in her hand. This isn't jealousy. It's betrayal. I once asked Dad what the plan was for Coyote Pass. He told me, that's not something you need to worry about. But I did worry every single day. And when I found the trust paperwork hidden at Robyn's, I realized none of us were ever meant to inherit anything. Judge Hanover's voice cracked as she read the next part. If I'm gone by the time you read this, let the record show I don't want $1. I just want my siblings protected. I want my moms, all 3 of them, treated as human beings, not pawns in Dad's loyalty game. The letter ended with a single line that cut through every defense Kody ever built. This isn't about estates. It's about escaping the lies and the system he built in our name. Signed, Robert Garrison Brown. The courtroom shattered in emotion. Christine broke first, sobbing into her hands. "He never told me he felt that deeply," she whispered through tears. Janelle stared at the ceiling, frozen, searching for her son's voice in the silence above. Even Mary wiped away a tear. She hadn't been close to Garrison, but she knew this letter was a mirror, one they had all avoided for too long. "But Robyn?" Robyn looked stunned. Her lips moved in silent prayer, or maybe a plea. And Kody just turned away. No tears, no defense. Because how do you argue with the truth written by your dead son? Christine's attorney rose. "Your Honor, we'd like to submit Supplement A." She handed over county documents, land records showing that Parcel 3, originally promised to Janelle's family, had been secretly transferred to a private trust, one controlled only by Kody and Robyn. Janelle's voice came next, steady, firm, and devastating. "That land was supposed to be mine. My boys cleared the brush. We dug the fence lines. Isabel marked her garden patch. We were building a dream, but it turns out it was someone else's empire." Then came the grocery ledgers. Spreadsheets Garrison had copied from his mother's laptop, each expense logged, each wound turned into proof. Next to every month's total, he had written comments in his handwriting. Groceries for 23 people, split 3 ways. Robyn never contributed this month, again. Dad said, "It's not your place to ask." Each note was another scar, another receipt of conditional love. Christine wept openly. "He died thinking he wasn't enough. He told me once he was tired of being the problem, that Robyn's kids were the good ones, and he'd always be the one who talked back." He wasn't talking back. He was crying out. The court fell completely still. Christine's lawyer turned toward Robyn. "Mrs. Brown, did you ever see this trust documentation before?" Robyn hesitated. I saw something. Kody handled most of it. I didn't read every detail." Mary cut in sharply. "But you signed it, Robyn." Her hand shook. "I didn't mean to exclude anyone. Kody said it was temporary, for tax reasons." Janelle scoffed. "Then why didn't you tell us when it became permanent?" The judge finally spoke, her voice cold as steel. "Following these revelations, I am issuing an emergency freeze on all Brown estate transfers, withdrawals, and property sales until a forensic audit is completed." Kody jolted in his seat. His lawyer whispered something frantic, but it was over. Every account, every parcel, every trust, frozen. Garrison's letter had officially changed the game. Then Kody stood, asking to address the court. "I loved my son," he began. He struggled. He had anger. "But I never excluded anyone. This family, it's complex. I never meant to hurt anyone." Christine stood abruptly, her voice slicing through the room. "You didn't have to plan it, Kody. You just had to let it happen. And you did, one for years." The judge leaned forward. "This letter will weigh heavily, Mr. Brown. The court will determine whether intentional fraud occurred." Kody sat back, deflated. No more patriarch posture. No more confident smirk. Just a man staring at the ruins of his own legacy. Before closing, the judge made one final note for the record. Garrison's words make clear that this case is no longer about property. It's about people, and this court will pursue the truth, no matter how uncomfortable. The gavel struck. Bang. The courtroom exhaled. Christine whispered, "Thank you, baby." But the story wasn't over. As the next witness prepared to take the stand, the bailiff asked the familiar question, "Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?" Robyn's hand trembled as she raised it. "I do." But this time, her tears wouldn't fade to black before a commercial break. Because today, in this courtroom, the truth wasn't just painful. It was radioactive. Just painful. It was radioactive. Today, we're inside a courtroom where years of manipulation, loyalty, and silence finally explode into truth. The walls of that courtroom had seen anger before, but not this kind. This time, it was grief dressed as justice. As the morning session opened, Robyn Brown took the stand once again. She looked fragile, her posture defensive, her voice already cracking under the weight of what was coming. Janelle's lawyer approached with calm precision. "Mrs. Brown," he said, "this account labeled Robyn's reserve and wait, is it primarily yours?" Robyn hesitated, then finally whispered, "Yes, primarily mine." The courtroom gasped. That single sentence detonated years of suspicion. On the screen behind her, a ledger appeared, rows of transactions, highlighted in red. Over $342,000 transferred between 2017 and 2023, each labeled with chilling precision: Kody Deposit Restructure Fund, TLC Disbursement, Family Safety, Mary Loan Forgiveness Redirected. Mary's jaw dropped. Wait, redirected? I was told my business loan was forgiven by the family. Are you saying those funds went into Robyn's account? The judge leaned forward. Witness, can you explain this? Robyn's voice shook. I didn't know it was coming from Mary's payout. Kody handled that part. But the document said otherwise. Every deposit she claimed ignorance over had her name on it, her signature, her trail. And then came the next bombshell, the loyalty clause. Janelle's attorney held up a private agreement between Kody and Robyn. In the event of emotional abandonment by other sister wives, it read, the legal wife, Robyn, shall be insured priority housing, uninterrupted income streams, and primary child support protection. The room froze. Christine stood up. Emotional abandonment? That's what you call surviving? Janelle whispered, we weren't wives to him. We were shields on to secure her rights. Even Mary, often silent, leaned forward. I signed loyalty with my heart, she said softly. She signed it in ink. Robyn tried to defend herself. I never wanted this, she said through tears. I didn't draft those agreements. Kody told me I needed protection. I believed him. I trusted him. Christine looked straight at her. Did you ever ask if we had protection? Robyn's eyes met Christine's for the first time in years. No. That word cut through the courtroom like a blade. Then came the emails, the final proof. Projected on the screen were messages dated March 2021 between Kody and Robyn. They discussed selling Coyote Pass lots as private holdings. Kody wrote, we'll list parcel 2 and 3 as backup income. The others won't ask. Mary's checked out, Janelle's overwhelmed, Christine's already halfway gone. Robyn had replied, are you sure this won't come back to bite us? It did. Christine turned to the judge. Your Honor, she didn't just watch it happen. She helped build the vault and swallowed the key. Kody tried to intervene. She didn't understand the finances. I made those decisions. If you want to blame someone, blame me. The judge's voice cut him down. Mr. Brown, you'll have your turn. Sit down. He muttered under his breath, this is a witch hunt. Christine's lawyer shot back instantly. No, Mr. Brown, this is justice, and for every woman you buried in paperwork. Robyn broke down. Not performatively. Not for sympathy. Just raw emotion. I loved these women, she sobbed. I loved their kids. But I got scared. Kody said if I didn't secure something, I'd be left with nothing. I was just trying to survive. Mary's voice trembled, but firm. Then why did you let us drown while you built a lifeboat? Robyn looked down. Because I wanted to believe I was the last one still loyal. I didn't realize. I was just the last one still compliant. The judge straightened her papers. This testimony has revealed sufficient evidence of intentional misrepresentation, asset diversion, and financial control disguised as family unity. And with that, she issued 3 interim orders. Robyn's personal and trust accounts placed under court monitoring. A forensic estate review to include all spousal communications and side agreements. Kody and Robyn, officially named co-defendants in the estate mismanagement claim. Robyn gasped. The woman Kody vowed to protect was now the woman he couldn't shield anymore. But the day wasn't over. As the courtroom cleared, Christine walked past Robyn, calm, composed, eyes full of quiet fire. You weren't the victim, Robyn, she said. You were the reward. Robyn said nothing. Her tears were no longer sympathy. They were evidence. Day 5, the turning point. Mary Brown walked into court carrying a large box. Not a symbol, but proof. Labeled Brown Family Grocery Fund 2010-2022. Inside, over 300 spreadsheets, receipts, Venmo logs, and bank statements. And one missing trail, over $47,000 vanished. For a decade, she was silent. But her records were screaming. Mary explained the system. We each contributed to groceries. Christine cooked, I bought bulk, Janelle handled coupons. But by 2015, Robyn stopped contributing. Kody said, she's overwhelmed with kids. We believed him. We absorbed her share. By 2018, Robyn was still contributing nothing, while Kody quietly redirected funds elsewhere. The forensic accountant revealed it all. Between 2019 and 2021, $47,000 was siphoned from the grocery fund into a private business account owned by Kody Brown. That money didn't buy groceries. It paid Robyn's second mortgage. The courtroom fell silent. They were buying cereal. Kody was buying security cameras. Janelle took the stand. I thought I was helping. I used my emergency savings to feed everyone. My boys ate ramen while Kody told us to tighten our belts. Turns out I wasn't feeding a family. I was funding a facade. Mary's attorney revealed the final twist. A shell company, Kody Brown Enterprises, LLC. One manager, Kody W. Brown. No employees. No real income. Just redirected funds labeled as management fees. Robyn, listed as emergency successor. Mary's voice cracked. We were the wives. She was the client. Her tears weren't weakness. They were history finally finding its voice. I waited for you to see me, she said to Kody, to thank me, to protect me. But now I see I was never invisible. I was intentionally silenced. Then came the heartbreak, Garrison's final transaction. The forensic accountant displayed it on the screen. $10,000 transferred from Garrison's account to Kody's LLC, labeled back pay, household fairness, per dad's instruction. Christine's voice broke. He paid back pay? He thought he owed them? The accountant nodded. Yes, he believed he had to balance the books to earn his place back in the family. Christine whispered he died trying to pay to be loved. Even the judge's voice shook. This court recognizes a pattern of financial coercion, asset redirection, and emotional manipulation. She ordered a full audit, froze all accounts, and authorized a civil financial abuse review for punitive damages. Christine then stood for a closing statement. We built his throne with receipts, she said. This wasn't just money. It was proof that while we were folding laundry and packing lunches, he was rewriting our worth behind our backs. This wasn't marriage. It was a pyramid scheme in polygamous disguise. The judge paused, visibly shaken. Christine nodded to Mary. You were the first wife, Mary. Today, you became the first voice. Mary smiled faintly. He thought he erased us. But the receipts remember. The final day arrived. Judge Hanover read the sealed deposition from a verified whistleblower. The voice said, I watched Kody instruct Robyn to sign trust paperwork without reading it. He often said Christine was too emotional, Janelle too soft, Mary too lost to notice. He called their loyalty his insurance. The courtroom recognized the voice. The family accountant. Kody's defense crumbled. His attorney tried, Your Honor, the trust was legal. There was no fraud. Judge Hanover leaned forward. Intention does not erase deception, counselor. Then came the verdict. The court finds sufficient evidence of asset concealment and financial misappropriation by defendant Kody Brown. The plaintiffs, Christine, Janelle, and Mary Brown, are awarded co-beneficiary status of all Brown family trust assets. Kody Brown Enterprises is to be dissolved. All remaining funds are to be equally divided among the plaintiffs, excluding Robyn Brown. Robyn gasped. Kody sat motionless. And furthermore, the judge continued, Kody Brown is removed as trustee of all family accounts and replaced by a court-appointed financial steward. The gavel struck, bang. Kody's empire was over. Robyn collapsed, not as a villain, but as a woman finally realizing her security was built from someone else's loss. I didn't know, she cried. Christine only whispered, Now you know how it feels. Mary approached the bench, holding a letter dated 2010. Kody's handwriting, We may not be equal on paper, but we are equal in spirit. She placed it beside the trust that erased her. He wrote that as comfort, she said. Now it reads like cruelty. Janelle stood for the children. Our sons and daughters watched us compete for love, not realizing the game was rigged. This isn't revenge. It's a warning. Silence isn't strength. Kody's final words were broken. I thought structure would protect us, he said quietly. Christine met his eyes. You were the one shaking the foundation. And for once, Kody didn't argue. Because even his voice had gone bankrupt. When the court adjourned, the three women walked out together. No microphones, no statements, just unity. Janelle whispered to the sky, I hope Garrison knows. We did it. Christine nodded, and it was louder than Kody ever imagined. In the weeks that followed, the audit found another $93,000 hidden.